So today was patch day for Gwent, and with the patch came a bunch of balance changes that are likely to shake things up. At least for me, personally on the ladder, I'd been experiencing a lot of matches where I was playing against weather monsters. This patch, I think, is going to certainly affect the number of weather monster decks that I'm going to be seeing on the ladder if it doesn't outright remove them. There are a lot of balance changes. I'm not going to cover them all. I'm sure that you can find the post on the Gwent news site if you do want to find like every last detail, but the important things, right, or at least some key ones I want to highlight. So Vran Warrior was changed to no longer consumes like right when you play him. Bran now discards up to 3 cards when you activate him from your deck, and then you add 1 base strength to each of them. And we're actually going to play some games with this. We're going to show the list off here in a little bit, but that change going from 2 to 3 was a big enough deal that I really want to give this a go. Ermion and his buddy Sven got changed back to drawing before discarding. I played a couple casual games earlier today. Ermion does appear to have at least some bugs with him. I was just trying him with the warships, and when I was discarding units to Ermion, it was still not triggering the warships, so he's at least bugged in that respect. I think I remember hearing some other people say in like various streams that I was watching at the time that he was bugged in a few other ways as well. So the good news is that once the bugs are worked out, that's a buff to Ermion and a buff to Bran. The bad news is you do have to deal with some bugs. Avalak went up to strength, but he's still, more than fine for monster spies. Probably still the best spy in the game, if I'm being honest. A lot of the Nilfgaard cards got some pretty reasonable buffs as well. I think they were trying to ramp up the reveal mechanic. That's where the most of them got them. So the Spotter card, Mangonel, they got some buffs. Tibor got a buff. His change in strength is now a change in base strength, so you can no longer like shackles him or debomb him and lose the bonus strength that you got from playing him. So there are as I was saying, right, it's a balance patch. There are a number of changes. I highly encourage you go read the article. Make sure you read all of it. The formatting on the article was really weird. So the Avalak change was in the neutral, and the Tibor change was down in like bug fixes. So read through everything. Make sure you check it out. But that being said, this is meant to be a gameplay video. And so we're going to at least show the deck I've been kind of casually testing today. And even though Ermion's bugged, we're going to go ahead and check this out. So I've been calling this out of cards because a few times I ran out of cards. Like, I legitimately drew more than my deck. So there's a lot of deck thinning at our fingertips with this build. So we run Bran, and Bran has a lot of synergy targets. So I'm running 3 of the Raiders, because worst case scenario, you can usually use Bran to fetch all 3, and even if it's in round 1, you get 15 strength from that. So you thin 3 cards and you get 15 strength, which is a pretty big play. Now, you can also go get things like Olgierd, you can go get things like Morkvarg, and they'll also, resurrect. Olgierd is, in my opinion, like the worst of the bunch to go get with Bran because you don't get the value until the following turn. But you do get full resurrect value when he comes in, basically, because of the Skellige passive plus King Bran, right? So he's basically, if you do it in round 1, you're going to get him as a 6 in round 2, which is kind of nice, but you get nothing that first round. And most of the success I've had so far with the deck, even though it's not very like Skellige-like, is fighting hard for round 1, and then round 2 playing like Birna Bran. I had a previous build where I was also running, instead of good old HJ here, I was running the other series. So I was running both series, and then I was running Johnny. And so the real thing was you'd fight hard for round 1, and then in round 2 you would hopefully be able to get off Birna and then Ciri, And then when you go into round 3, I was playing Johnny to put that Siri back on the bottom of my deck and get a better gold card. It was working relatively well, but I was running into a lot of scenarios where if you don't win round 1, I had too many like card advantage plays, and it made it that much harder to win rounds 2 and 3. So Siri Johnny combo as of right now is cut in favor of just like some more raw power to help keep it in tempo. So yeah, we've got these guys as our leader interaction. We're also running the Shieldsmiths for the same thing, right? The pirates are again thinning, and they're also really good if you do still run into some weather, even though weather was nerfed. Weather was nerfed because the silver weather cards, again, they're like bad aeromancies now, right? Like instead of spawning both, it's a choose one or the other. So aeromancy is just strictly better in every way. Yeah, I don't expect to see a ton of weather, but if you do, the pirates give you some outs, as do the archers. We're also running the archers to deal with Nilfgaard because it got buffs, so I expect to see lots of rotten cows, and the archers are a great way for just pinging off the cow and saving, you know, whatever units you do have. We're running Ermion, we're running Sven. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. It's probably like Sven Riege or something, but I call him Sven. Just because it's extra ways to interact with the guys that Kingbrand doesn't fetch. We're running a couple of priests to get back Shieldsmiths, or if needed, some clutch archers again to deal with cows mostly. 2 Thunders as ways to target Lord of Unvik. And then, you know, just basic Skellige like resurrect stuff. So another option, right, another version that I ran was again with the longships, right, the war longship, and I do think that that has some merit, but the reason I'm not running it now is because of the Ermion bug. And again, I have to assume it's a bug, but basically when you were discarding units with him, it still isn't triggering war longship right now. So once that gets fixed, I will plan on giving that another go again. I might even revisit the Johnny play. I might be able, because I was not winning the first round as often as I wanted to, but in large part it was because I wasn't getting enough longship triggers. But that was in part because I was just missing out on clutch triggers. So we might revisit it, but for now, this is the list, and we're gonna go ahead and try jumping into some games with it and see how it goes. So I've only been playing this on casual, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into some ranked games with it because we really want to see if it can compete. See what kind of viability it has. I think it's going to struggle against dwarves personally, and I think that it has the potential to struggle against weather monsters if we do see it. I mean, we have a couple of weather immune guys, but most of our guys that we're trying to get like the recurring value from, right? I'm thinking specifically like Olgierd and Morkvarg are not doing well if they drop a frost, so that could be a struggle. I think that the dependency of this build is really on whether or not they are removed from the meta, if you will. So, this is fine. We don't want 2 pirates, we want 1, so we're going to go ahead and ship 1 back. I don't like these in the opener because I like to fetch them, so we're going to ship that back. And then I usually don't like keeping the priests. This is a really like rough turn 1 hand. We do have Hjalmar and Thunder, right? So we might end up just going that route. I think we do ship 1 of these back. I think that's our best bet. We're just going to have to play him from hand, it looks like. And a second Thunder. So this might not be horrible against Radovid.
Come to Pappy.
Ooh, he's got another one in hand, which does not bode well for him, but bodes amazingly for us. Alright. Let's go ahead and do this.
Come to Pappy.
Yep, we know that we're going to see that. Let's go ahead and do this to get him going.
Surprises.
So I will say this as well. Hopefully I'm coming through just fine. I did recently switch from OBS Classic to OBS Studio. I'm still kind of playing with the audio. I don't think I have it where I like it yet. I'm using some like noise reduction thing that I have not used in the past to reduce the like fan volume, and it sometimes makes me sound like I'm in a fishbowl. So I don't know how I feel about that. Interesting. Scorch does still take care of that for us, so we're going to go ahead and lock in that gold power now. On the one hand, bummer we had to use Scorch. On the other hand, against Radovid, that basically means we're going to win round 1. If he pushes it again, we'll just use this for thinning and call it good.
I told you so, you idiot.
Like, at this point, I think he's trying to thin, but... So another thing worth mentioning, the siege supports were nerfed. They are basically, we're 7 now. Oh, you know what? No. They are still 9. My apologies, I misread those notes. Alright, we are going to go ahead, I think. We're going to for sure hit these 2. And I think we're just going to go ahead and grab Morkvarg. Morkvarg will also pop into play. It just means like less long-term value, but it's also a better thing on the board, and it makes us not vulnerable to Scorch. That was the big decision. It's kind of nice having him as an option, because he always comes in as 1 higher. So at this point, when we look at thinning, right? He's got 13 cards in deck, and we have 10 cards.
Real art is.
Though he's about to Priscilla up here.
Peace is priceless.
And Stennis. Alright, so we're even on cards. And we are ahead by 17. No, more than that. Holy cow. We're ahead by enough that we're just going to pass. Let's be honest, like that's what's happening right now. If he wants to even come close to attempting to compete for that round, he can try. It's also interesting, like, he had to Stennis just to pull even, and it still wasn't even close. So we accomplished what we wanted to in taking the first round. We're going to get some power back as well. We're going to get some more cycle. So the downside is we did not run into our Ciri dash, but maybe we'll hit her this round so that we can pump her for the last round.
I can help you if you wish.
There is the Ciri. Ciri is fantastic in this matchup. I don't think we're going to see a point at in this matchup where we're going to be targeting 3 things with this guy. So I think he's a safe one to discard. And you know what? I think we're actually just going to do both of them. I just don't think, with him having played the Foot Soldiers and the Reaver Scouts in that first round, that we're going to see lots. Of course I say that, and he's going to play 3 units now. But
Salutations.
let's go ahead and lock in.
Ho ho, I sense trouble.
Lock in Ciri. We'll probably do our buddy Sven. Again, I know that's not how you say his name, but we're probably going to go ahead and take him next to get this down to 5 cards.
I told you so, you idiot.
Let's see what else we can find here. We also do want to shieldsmith one of these at some point.
I swear on my honor.
So I think we, to get the most value here, actually drop a Thunder. And we're going to use these to kind of load these up, provide some value. Also gives us things to target next round with the
Ho ho, I sense
Priestess.
billion barrels of burning pitch.
Hit up our buddy the werewolf.
Battles are won or lost by the commanders, not by
destroy.
sorceresses.
All non-gold units on its side. Fair enough. Not a lot I can do to buff this right now. I mean, not realistically. I mean, we could shield smith it, but that feels like a waste.
Billion barrels of burning pitch.
Anything that he can hit it for 1, he could likely hit it for 3. We're just going to keep trying to make him invest some resources. And then go to the next round. At this point, we have to expect the villain Trettenmirth Bork in the 3rd round. Ironically, we're planning on like giving this round up, and we're still kind of killing it. You know what I mean? Take a max value Thunder just to force more cards out of him. I want to really make him feel uncomfortable. We might even just use the Priestess and not do it on a Shieldsmith next round here. Just to force more cards out of him. If we just go in with just 1 card, but it ends up being the Restore, I'm okay with that. Restore can hit Sven here in a pinch, which is our
I'm a medic.
our likely target.
Describe something.
Just because then that would let us draw and discard a card and maybe
But we're broke as shit peddlers.
find Siri again. That would be an ideal like last card going in. Alright, so we made him use Shani. He did definitely like jump ahead there, but
Modern
as I
is
said,
patient,
we're gonna see
but
if we
she
can
brooks no insult.
force a little bit more out of him.
By Hendel's axe!
Let's hit all the 5s. If anything, I want to make him think we have a plan.
Checkmate.
Spoiler, we don't have a plan. Alright, so he either is saving Bork for the end, or he doesn't have Bork, right? Now, I know I was just saying that I kind of wanted to save this for him into the final round to search for Ciri, but the truth is, we're going to get power back at the start, and so if we just res something just to go above the 6 here, it forces him to use the last card, so even if it is Bork, it's like a really shitty Bork for him. The other option would be we could play Prince Stennis off our res, but then he doesn't have to play the last card, so I think we end up just getting an archer here. In all likelihood, I think that's the right play.
Keep together!
And of course, as I'm saying it out loud, I realize it was the wrong play. So the proper play instead of an archer actually should have been, because he killed one, should have been a shieldsmith to pump Mark Borg again. But he did have Bork, right? He did have villain Trettenmirth. We do lose the round, but we made him use it, which is massive in this last round. Because, again, we're going to get power back. He is not. And the top deck of top decks. He does not have enough.
Ho ho, I sense trouble.
And even if he did have something that somehow swung it, he could not compete with that top deck. So, there you go. There is a game against Radovid Control. We're going to send the good game. And just to cut this video short, I'm probably going to end this one here, and likely tomorrow post some more gameplay footage on this, but I just want to get something posted now, and since I'm going to be going live with the stream here in a little bit, and think we're going to do this now. So if you're watching this on February 17th when it was posted, by the time you're watching it, chances are I am live and streaming, and I do plan on playing some Gwent. So if you want to see this deck or some of the other decks in action after the patch, come check it out. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time, and we'll have a lot more, game footage at that point. So, thanks, and I'll see you next time.